Hello, American literature friends, and welcome to Fall 2026. This video is a guide to the syllabus and the language of the syllabus for this class. There's a separate video for the schedule and assignments. This video is just going through the syllabus basics, like what you would get. This is an in-person, face-to-face class. This is what you would get on the first day, where I go over the rules, the guidelines of the course. This is English 2130, American Literature, Georgia Highlands, 80656, course number, Fall 2026. I'm just going to go through this material as quickly as I can and explain stuff that in the past has needed a little explanation. Some of this is self-explanatory. There's no need for me. You can review this material if you jump into the class, you click on the syllabus. That's what I'm going to go through right now. But some of that is self-explanatory and you can access it yourself, but I'm going to explain some things that might need a little explanation, especially if I were seeing you face to face. To be in this class, you need to have made a C or better in 1101 and 1102 individually. This material, the additional course information here, starts with some language about using and abusing AI, large language models. And there's a lot of language here about that. The use of generative AI tools, what it boils down to is the instructor reserves the right to request revisions, resubmissions, or oral defense of work. If you turn in work and I suspect it's AI, I reserve the right. And this has been verified all the way up to the president for me to ask, to question you, to talk to you about this work and that material, in an attempt to assure me, since I'm grading it, that it is your work. The use of generative AI is used in the earliest stages of the writing process, brainstorming, outline, and fine-tuning research questions. But after that, it is prohibited. And you see right here, writing entire sentences, paragraphs, or papers to complete class assignments on any of the work or material for this class, totally prohibited. Anything beyond the roughest of rough drafts is prohibited. And you are responsible for the information that you submit based on an AI query in those very roughest drafts. The instructor reserves the right to alter dates, material covered, or format of any assignments after giving appropriate notification to students. I don't expect to need to do that, and it is a rarity to have to do that, especially in an online course. If you don't know me and you haven't had me in the past, my name is Jake Sullins. My office is on the Cartersville campus in up in the front corner of the A building in 320B. My office number there is 678-872-8064, and I am in there Mondays and Wednesdays and Tuesday afternoons, and I'm available by Teams almost any day, especially in the late afternoons. I have two small children, and so late afternoon is the best time for me because I'm often shuttling them around in the mornings. And then there's the USG material about core impacts. Again, that's self-explanatory and just required for all courses. This is an online course, so we're not going to do regular attendance like if we were in a face-to-face class, but I will regularly check to see that everyone is accessing the relevant modules as we go through the weekly modules, which I'll show you in just a moment, and which are much more fully explained in the schedule and assignment guidelines video. The grade scheme for this class is standard across the college, the 90 to 180 to 89, down to 60, 69, 59, and below. The assessments for this course, the rubric, there are 3 exams for this class. And again, that's fully explained in the schedule and assignments video. But they are 100 points apiece, they're 10 points apiece, and 100 points, or 10% apiece, and that adds up to your 30% there. There are 5 short response papers there. They're 10% apiece. That adds up to 50%. They're graded on a scale of 0 to 100. There's a research paper in November for this class. It's 15%. You see right there, and then participation is 5%. That is what I already mentioned, the checking to be sure that you've accessed the weekly modules, those kinds of things. So it's a pretty simple grade breakdown. The 3 exams are 10% apiece. The 5 responses are 10% apiece. The research paper is a little more, it's 15%, and then that last little 5% for participation. When you turn in work to me, I'll grade it holistically for form, content, message, and meaning, especially engagement with the particular text that you're responding to and analyzing. These are analysis papers, and so your focus on the story or poems that you're analyzing, that's part of what I'm grading. But I grade everything as a total paper, everything from like minor grammar all the way up to the deepest thesis and details you're using. And I provide written feedback, and I'm happy to meet with you either in person in Cartersville or online to give you feedback if you've got questions. The due dates for this assignment are listed on the syllabus and the course D2L page. Again, that's in a separate video, but it walks you through the schedule. Late assignments are not accepted except in very extenuating circumstances and with prior approval. You've let me know something's going to be late, checked in, said, look, I've got this conflict, I need an extra day. That's when it's possible to turn in late work. Beyond that, I'm probably not going to accept late work. But if you fall behind or need extra time with something, be in touch with me and let me know what's going on. We can almost certainly make something work. And then here's the reading and assignment schedule, which has its own separate video, and so I'm not going to linger too long on it. But you see the first exam there on September 1st, the second one on September 24th, the research paper due there on the November 12th, and then the final exam is there on December 4th, Friday. This class surveys American literature from its beginnings to the present. We're going to pay particular attention to historical and cultural influences like the worlds in which these works were produced and how they were talking to the world and how the world responded to them as they were received. We'll consider questions about American identity and the components typically associated with the American literary tradition, the sort of main concepts like big ideas like the frontier, things like that, as well as a few challenges that have been posed to the traditional model. American literature as like a body of things to be studied is about 100 years old now. And so there is a model, and then there have been some challenges to it and some revision and some updating, and we're of course ongoing updating it as new work is produced. There's the expected course results for the department, financial aid statement. If you, especially since this is especially relevant, since this is an online class, federal regulations state that if you don't attend class and receive failing grades, they're not earned. So you do need to do some work to earn, even if you make an F in this class, you'll have to earn the F. And there are certain ways to earn that grade, both so you're not dropped for non-attendance since this is an online class, and then the earned F since I won't see you in class. So be sure to log in to the syllabus and these kinds of videos and that kind of stuff so I can count you as attending and give you grade credit. In terms of participation, we're obviously not going to meet in class, but your participation will be to stay on schedule with the assigned readings and assignments. One of the key factors in the reason when people don't succeed in this class is because they have fallen behind in their readings and they get to a test and they just simply can't take it, they can't complete it because they're so far behind, they're either overwhelmed or they just can't catch up with the material enough to succeed on the test. You fail to keep up with the material in this course just won't be productive for you, and you won't be able to succeed on the material. If you want to stay in touch, when I want to stay in touch with you, I'll communicate with you via D2L announcement and GHC email, especially if you turn work into me via email, I'll email it back to you. If you want to be in touch with me, please use the Outlook email system, not the D2L email, just because it's less user-friendly, much less user-friendly. Submit assignments through the Outlook email, jsullins@highlands.edu. When you turn in work, here's some basic information about turning in work. Just like it's standard old school work, you'll turn in 12-point standard font, double-spaced work. If you don't know what 12-point font or double spacing is, let me know so I can tell you, so that your papers are easy for me to read and grade. The top of the first page should include your name. Again, I want to open your file and see your name so I'll know who to give the credit to. Please put your name on your work. All formal papers require an assignment-specific title that's not like paper 2 or response paper. And if a paper is about a particular text or story, we read Jack London's To Build a Fire. The title of your paper should not be To Build a Fire. Don't steal a title, come up with your own. Academic honesty and integrity. This is obviously, for this class, mostly plagiarism. And so you see right here, to borrow another writer's words and ideas without proper acknowledgement is a form of dishonesty known as plagiarism. And to avoid plagiarism, you need to cite all quotations, summaries, and paraphrases, as well as any facts or ideas that are not common knowledge. The only assignment for this course that you will need to do research for is the research paper. Everything else should be between you and the text, and you reading and responding to the text, both for the response papers and the exams. And so any use of outside work like that that's unsighted, and you shouldn't be citing anything because you shouldn't be doing any research, that's unsighted is going to be considered plagiarism. For text and supplies, all the materials, the readings are linked in D2L. There's no book for this class that you will need. Everything we're going to read, I have a link for in the individual D2L modules. They're organized by weeks, and then within the weeks, by author. As we go through, since we won't meet in a classroom, if you have some kind of course-related or content-related question that you want to ask, please feel free to be in touch with me. This is obviously not going to be a situation where we can bounce ideas off of each other in a classroom, but you should always feel free to be in touch with me, and don't hold back a question or a comment because you're afraid it will sound unsophisticated or irrelevant, or anything like that. I want us to have an environment, even though we won't be in a classroom, I want us to have an environment where you feel free to be in touch with me and ask about anything that you're concerned about or interested in. Again, attendance, since this is an online class, we won't do traditional attendance, but I will be checking the modules. And along those same lines, since this course is online, please don't film, record, photograph, or reproduce any of the course materials to copy or distribute in any way. If you need disability accommodations, you can be in touch with me, but if you need specific accommodations, you can go through Georgia Highlands College's Student Support Services. They have resources on every campus, including web courses, or if you through Teams, and so you can formalize whatever disability accommodations you need. Get the FAN form through their office. And this class also, like every class, does the early warning program. That's the attending and non-attending in the first week or two, and then midterm grades. And then again, back to the same. Here's this is not a chart, but it is the grade breakdown, same grade breakdown. 50, 10, the 3 exams, the research paper is 15. I got the numbers wrong here, 10 and 10, but it's 15 and 5. The graph, the chart is correct. If you have questions about any of that, please don't hesitate to be in touch with me. I look forward to reading your work, to hearing from you, and to guiding us along this journey through American literature, beginning in the 1600s and getting us all the way up to where we are now. So again, I look forward to reading your work and to supporting you in whatever way I can as we go through this semester, even though I won't get to see you face to face in the classroom.